Alright, so for some combos, the most important thing to know is if you're going first, don't always just ride a 7Cs and then activate Gina immediately. You want to hold on to this until you know what your next draw is going to be, unless you have a 7C starter in your hand, which, you want that to drop it as soon as possible. So the only time you do it turn 1, if you're going first, is when you have a 7C starter and nothing else. So typically, what you want to do with Gina is you want to put her in Soul, and the main targets you want to discard are Night Runner and Night Spittle. Now, those are the two most optimal targets. Some of the other targets are Night Crows and Slash Shades. But if you have both of these in your hand, one of the most common plays that I'll do is turn 1, I'll throw this in Soul, discard the Night Spittle, and then during the same turn, discard this to call the Night Spittle here, and then pass, because, I'm going first. What happens is this will then get called back, mill a bunch of cards, this will get +2. So this will be on board for the power. You have this in drop, you have this already called, so you don't have to ditch any other resources. That's what I typically do. Now, some combos that I like to do are, during battle, let's say your opponent hit a defensive trigger. God forbid. I kind of hate that shit, but it happens all the time. If you're comboing off, let's say you have your preferred ride, which is this guy, and they hit a defensive trigger. And you have a lonely little Night Spittle over here with literally anything else as a booster. What you're going to do is when you swing with your column over here, you're going to blow one of your... after you swing Vanguard, obviously. This isn't your booster, but you get the idea. Ta-da, there's the preferred booster. So, what's going to happen is Night Spittle has no power. You are going to call this Slash Shade. Okay, so Night Spittle gets +2. Whatever unit you just blew up, Counterblast 1 again, call this here. So you use whatever booster you had here, and then you just blow up the card that gave them the defensive trigger. Now what's going to happen is this is going to get +4, so this is going to be essentially an 8k booster on a 9k, which will be 17. And you can still hit them through defensive triggers, you just have to burn another Counterblast. But if you were going to call 2 Slash Shades anyways and they hit a defensive trigger, that's the way you just poop on them a little bit. So, yeah, that's one of the things that you can do. But most of the tricks come with using Gina correctly. And here we're going to go over a ruling. Now, this card, very specifically, is an auto during the beginning of your main phase. So a few people will probably try and tell you that when you activate this in your drop zone and you mill 4, let's say you're milling, and you hit another one, and then you call this back, rested, they'll say you can't activate this one. You most certainly can. Because this card is an auto, and that is the only thing that we need to know. Whether or not it's the beginning of main phase does not matter as much as the fact that it's an auto. Because you are allowed, as the turn player, and as the person who activated the skills, you are allowed to choose the order in which your autos resolve. And since Bushiroad has made that ruling, when you call this back, you now have a check timing where you can activate any other autos that would pertain to the situation, which would be this card. So if you mill one of these and call this back, you can activate this to mill more. And if you hit another one, you can mill more. There's nothing stopping you from being able to do that. So that is one of the biggest issues that people have told me. And I have definitely confirmed that you can activate that even if it's been freshly milled at the beginning of main phase off of another Night Runner. So those are the things that you need to know about Gina and about Night Runner and about how to use your counterblasts, essentially. Yeah, that's just about it. And one more tip, never forget about Gina's 5k power. That's important.
Yes, that's very essential.
All right, that's it.